approach certain problems or do some things which are pretty fundamental to programmers, and I just kind of take for granted how to do these things, but I realize it's new to you. So I'm going to cover one of those topics today. Today we're going to count things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a little program that I'm going to input a lot of numbers, and I'm going to count how many there are. That's all I'm going to do on this one. So I need a couple things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a counter. The name counter here means nothing. It's just a word, just a name I've given it, but I usually call it a counter. It's what I'm going to use to keep track of the number of things I read in. As I read them in, I'm going to add one to this. I'm also going to read in the input a number, and I have to have a place to put it, so I'm going to call it number I read in, or read in. I'll initialize it to 0, although we'll change it. And then initially what I'm going to do is I'm going to read in the first number. Number I read in. Okay. First time I read a number. So we always do this initially. Now, while number I read in is greater than or equal to 0, okay, I want to do something. Okay, I'm going to put this in a while loop. So the first time I read it in, it's going to do this statement up here. Okay, read it in, it's going to hit this while loop, and it's going to ask the question, is the number greater than or equal to 0? If it is, it's going to add 1 to the counter. Okay, good. So we have 1 in it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to read in another number. Oops. Read. Let's spell it right. And read in. Okay. So that's our algorithm. Now look what it's going to do. It's going to read a number, check it. If it's okay, it's going to add 1 to it. First time through, it's going to add 1 to it. Then it's going to try to read in another one. Now it's not going to add 1 to the counter until it goes back up to the while loop and comes through again. Whenever I hit a negative number, it'll come up here to the while loop, it'll check it, it'll stop, it'll go past all of this to the end of the right bracket, and I'm going to see out numbers I read in. Okay, we'll put counter and L. Okay, let's build this. Build solution. Okay, start without debugging, and we're going to write in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do -1, and it's going to say numbers I read in are 5, which is exactly what we wanted. All right, very good. This is how to count numbers. Okay, now the next video, which I'll produce in just a few seconds, is how to take those numbers and put them into an array. That'll also help you on assignment number 5. Very good.